Politics, Economics, and Ecology of Community, Part 3. Let me just keep going with this because I'm trying to get to what are the things we can start doing now on the ground, each of us. And I'm starting with me coming up with the strategy document. But we could have, the culture of understanding what it means to come back to community is almost built into a lot of things already. I don't know how much of a case you have to make for that. It has to translate into economic practice. As I was saying, the insight that came in on day 7, I think that's shit. All we really need to do is have like an app that really works. I mean, still people are going to be tempted by all the advertising, but you would have a thing that's like now out there you may already have like, oh, trust us to sell you all the shit. It's like, yeah, but it's in the context of we're trying to sell you shit paradigm. So if you had like just trying to pitch, what I'm saying would be a purchasing collective, community-based purchasing collective. In the current, nobody would trust it. But if you could get it to be trusted, it would go viral. If you can make it easy to use, and that would put at least the thought of, hey, we respect certain things differently. It would undermine advertising, and it would start to shift some of the logic. That's the one that could go out there, even just as a rumor. But it wouldn't make sense outside of the context of the rest of the community-based company and how this would be how the members do their extraneous purchases outside of what they can get in terms of their own resources within the cooperative network that's theoretically being established among people that want to work towards the community-based paradigm as something you can do incrementally, but kind of as fast as you want to go. Because businesses can do things overnight once they decide to do it. Start changing things. And that's the difference between them and governments. Governments are completely stalled. It boggles my mind, especially people on, I don't want to keep using the left, but progressives that want to see change. And then they think they're going to do it with government. That's like how you make things not get changed. Jesus, that's how you go backwards. Because the very things you're fighting for, if you're trying to change them that way, they start annoying everybody so much. It's like they do the opposite. Oh my God. It just doesn't make sense to me. Huh? Am I from another planet or are you guys from another planet? Because that doesn't make sense. Stop that already. I understand the idea of everybody taking care of each other and not destroying the ecology and everything. But what the hell? So you're going to hire a bunch of suits from out of state that went to freaking institutions you can't trust because there's all kind of money shenanigans going on, and let's just leave it there. In other words, shenanigan wise, we don't want to know what else. So, these are notes to myself. It may look like I'm trying to be funny to have people watching, but that's not the point. What else needs to be said here is what else needs to be said? A lot of things can happen and need to happen with gusto that are free. But unless you have the context of where this all goes, it's like, why bother doing that? In other words, like all the free community stuff, like festivals and so I say 6-on-6 soccer tournaments. You don't need to be that talented, and I could coach anybody to like be useful in a game. That's a lot of fun and different things that people can do for fun. And but there's a lot going on in terms of food. What do you need to eat to be healthy? Okay, that's a whole new industry. What about? Am I randomly going right? Yeah, there's keystone industries. One of them is food. One of them is health. The whole food, health, and then medicine. That's so much real money there involved, and the alternative to that could be much closer to home, save people a lot of money. But if you leave everybody do it on their own, it's never going to happen. There has to be a focus. Okay, this is what I was trying to say. There has to be a serious focus about trying to do this in the economic arena by people that believe in higher values, would rather not really get involved with businesses because that's all profiteering. They'd rather just stick to something they love to do and go with the flow. All right, that's what we're all trying to really be able to get to. But If we don't take care of certain things, then that leaves it to some other people that aren't so calm about all that. And here we are with these elites as such. And who knows? A lot of them have good intentions to start with. I know this for a fact. And you end up at the top of this cutthroat world. You just got to play ball to some extent. It's hard to shift it from up there. It has to shift from a more of a groundswell of understanding. And the groundswell of understanding, a lot of the good information is tucked away with the New Age 5D UFO thing. And then the Christians want to point at, you know, people trying to find their own way in a wholesome way. And I'm sorry, that doesn't need to happen. The Christ energy is real. The Jehovah thing is real. Just because it's a cultural fact, let that go right there. Because enough people believe it that it becomes something as a real energy in the society, and maybe if enough people believe it, things happen. All right, let it go there. You don't have to believe it to know certain things work. The healing energy of love. Okay, can you leave it there? You don't have to say Christ. The healing energy of love. The cosmos is benevolent because, like, look at you. Look at who you are right there, where you are, and everything you got. Look at all the things that we got. That's Crazy Horse with Neil Young. I almost sang that in a different one, and people forget and all this amazing stuff. And right now in this world of over commodification, amazing stuff we got, and a lot of suffering, a lot of people not getting paid enough, all that. Okay, but going back is not an option unless you just want to let a bunch of people die or go into lockdown. That's where it's headed. And I'm saying this to the elites. I'm speaking to everybody here. You have a chance, people with ways to start shifting things, and to invest in resources. Buy farms. Let's make permaculture co-op farms that include hamlets and different functions that can include techies and things like clothing and other things people need. And all the industries can retrofit calmly. Nobody loses what they've invested so far, and would get to keep that all if they got grounded into co-op ownered resource. Ownered? That's a new word. Um, which is how it gets you cut all the because here's the externalities. People think externalities is just waste products. Externalities is the suffering of your employees. Externalities is the fact that they're not as wholesome and thriving as they could be, and the fact that that's not happening and they're not contributing to the joy of the community. That's an externality when you're not treating them right, and so no more externalities. That gets ironed out in a genuine community owned, and you can't mandate that to everyone. You got to allow people to find their own communities and join them, and hopefully offer nice arrays of possibilities. And in the current world, if we do it fast enough, it stays flexible. So, and it starts with whatever you're really into or what your job is. A lot of jobs can retrofit back out of use and or more intelligent use without the freak out that you're going to lose your money and you're going to starve because you know where your food is coming from and you know where your resources are coming from. And that's not a pile of money. That's affiliation with uh, communities of grounded resource or co-op networks of grounded resource. And you don't get to that other than by actually making those connections. So that's a proactive thing that can start happening right now. Everybody could do it. There's a way to do it as an worker, as a consumer, and as a business owner. And there's a way to do it as an organization, and all those are different ways. There's different ways of applying the logic of how this fits together. But you can make an app that relates to all that. So just automatically say, hey, you should talk to this company here. But that to start that off is the directory of what's already going on out there. And then a way to talk to these people, because I'm like following all the cool shit that crosses my way. And then, you've got, are we going to be able to talk to the Green Party? I don't know. They're so defensive. but other actual things on the ground. There's a lot of different businesses coming up with the Maha movement. Can I talk to Nicole Shanahan? Hey, Bobby, I was only 2 years behind you in Harvard. I dropped out. And I don't have to wear a tie. I mean, I know you. I know you don't love wearing ties, brother. I can see it. But anyway, can we talk? Because if you're not seeing it, then let me try to explain what I'm seeing. Because this can start to work on the ground, and there's different keystone aspects of how this comes together. One of them, for example, is a way to just gather your friends and the people you want to work with, and fashion a company around that. Here's where AI could come into usefulness. Rather than everybody giving away their talents, you just once you don't need to be doing stupid shit you don't want to get paid, and you can do things that really matter to you to get paid, to actually have them to be there, and then you can stop using AI for stupid shit. Use AI for the complexity of some of these things, perhaps, or taking my stupid ass raps and explaining it to the rest of y'all, because I guess I'm sure some people are getting it. That's not the point. It's not about getting it. It's like, what do we do, Mike? So yeah, that's what's coming up is a strategy document. And one of them is having a website. One of them is having a directory. Another one, of aspect there, is being able to represent to all these different people in the directory how they can begin to start without criticizing what they're already doing, which is having to be for profit in a for profit context, how we can start shifting towards an above board, visibly not not in the sense of non-profit, but in the sense of for sustenance or for whatever uh, providers instead of profiteers. And once you have a genuine, like, yeah, this is for real, then you can start to go viral with some of what this could mean. Because right now, this just comes on the end of a lot of new age promises about how we're going to come to one and have the sense of oneness. I believe that's all true, all that sense of oneness. But when you then have to go back and participate in this backstab economy, because there's no alternative, then that oneness becomes sort of like wishful thinking. And there's no need for that, because the reality is that it is a oneness. And the reality is it would work better if we understood that and worked with it. And the reality is we could get there if we started with not pointing fingers, understanding how we could work together. And AI could inventory how much actual farmland is in the hands of independents or in people's backyards. And then the permaculture movement right now is just trying to pitch me like permaculture courses. Hey man, I don't need to learn permaculture. You guys know how to do permaculture. Come over here. I got 2 acres in the backyard. I'll do whatever you guys suggest. How can we coordinate our neighbors to do all this? Are there local freaking laws that we got to overcome? That's where the neighborhood party could actually say, all right, let's do a little bit of real politics. But meanwhile, the fact is you don't need institutions of politics to get people coming together and working on things. And that's what the Neighborhood Party Unlimited, I say, is a real thing. And it's taking on politics, but it's taking on festival too. You don't know if maybe we mean it's a party that never ends. I would say, yeah, that's a good idea too. Eh? Let's do that at the same time. In the world of art, if you get into the flow, it comes a lot faster than you can really start generating quote unquote wealth, but joy and participation and all these things. What is it worth? It's worth the fact that we're alive and really pushing into the joy of it. That's what is meant to happen. And then abstract search for meaning that the professors may bandy about becomes less relevant when you're really enjoying the vitality of being connected. I'm still missing some of the little details I wanted to get to. You've got keystone projects in terms of industries, but you also can generate a whole cultural movement. And I could use a team for social networking profiles and such. You want to see where you can start, maybe, getting noticed and then having options. But the options, you want to be in a place where you're giving things away and people trust you, that you're really giving them away. And at the same time, I'm talking straight to the elites. Everybody needs to get over the paranoia and the finger pointing. And the so-called elites, look at you guys. You control some resources. Don't stop doing what you need to do to keep it all stable. Understand how it's not a big risk financially, and it's a big positive, potentially a total win-win-win-win-win-win-win. To start letting people more in, and you do it in a responsible way. And some of the institutions that are losing their credit, like universities, calmly but do it quick and get on board with letting everybody just in on all the information, and you provide teamwork. And once we're all prosperous, there's no need to be rich. You need connections to the real.